Death be not proud.
Thanks, Guy. Now, how many of you believe that being overweight or morbidly obese is caused by a genetic predisposition? Show of hands. Well, you're wrong. They're fat, lazy slobs who won't take responsibility for themselves. Let's go!
You gotta grind. Every single goddamn day. Every single goddamn day. You gotta grind.
Alright, you ignorant pigs, put down your crack pipes and your beer bongs. It's time for the Holy Divers Show, the Year Ender. So this one should cover and slick your battle thirst for the HD show for the month of December and January. I don't know if I'll be back with the show in January, so I'm just getting that out of the way now. The categories today are new hobbies, my projects, 3 months no game store. 3 months of no game store. The fitness segment is more of a mental health check for you guys out there. Some housekeeping, and then a bolt action battle report. So, what are some of my new hobbies? My new hobbies are going to the rifle range or going to the archery range. I have decided to get back into hunting, and I am planning a hog hunt in March. And I want to thank my my man Randy out there for inviting me out to the great state of Tennessee, greenest state in the land of the free, home and birthplace of Davy Crockett. And hopefully I can see that house. That'll actually be pretty cool. He's kind of rolling out the red carpet for me in advance, and I told him I'd get some flight information at the end of the week for him and everything. So just getting that out of the way. Though going to the archery range is expensive, or the shooting range is expensive, it's fun. It's fun to kind of fire off your guns and loose arrows. I've got some pictures of me here shooting the targets.
So I'm out here at my brother's house because I live in America and it's free out here and I can shoot a bow wherever I want, you know. So you want to see some shit? I wasn't hitting the target before, but now I'm doing it.
I'll do that, boy.
Boom! Right there. What do we got? We got target. That's a dead pig. That's a dead pig. You hear me, internet? That is a dead pig. Let's see if we can do it again. That's a dead pig. And this is we're 10 arrows in. We're about 10 real arrows in. Muffy boutain, moujois, Saint-Denis. Fucking frogs. That's another one. That might be a dead pig. What's it say? We got a dead pig?
You should probably walk over there. Here.
Oh, I'll walk over there. Like I said, that's a dead pig.
You did a good job.
That is a dead pig right there.
You know, shooting that bow, but unfortunately I will not be bow worthy until a couple of months. I've only been to the range 3 times, my brother's twice, and a range once. And I also have to buy another half dozen arrows and get my bow rings restrung. So it's kind of a slow roll, you know. I mean, amid my obligations right here, amid my fitness obligations, not to mention I have work on top of that. Right now it's slow, and I could really use the break. I cannot believe how much I've been sleeping when I haven't had to work, you know. Sometimes I'll sit down for a nap, and, you know, I'll nap for like 2 hours, you know, or I'll get up on a Sunday at 8, you know. I mean, like, oh, it's 7:30. I guess I'll lay here until 8, you know. So I can't believe how tired I was. I'm always spreading myself as thin as possible when it comes to doing things. I like to stay busy. I really do. I also want to take a rifle deer hunt this fall. I think that'll be really fun. I have taken up kickboxing. I'm going to get some equipment, and I'm going to get out with my buddy Bo Yang, Asian Chad, and we're going to do some kickboxing. And when I'm working, I'm listening to 2 hours of Japanese phrases in the AM, and 1 hour and 15 minutes in the PM at work. And so, you know, I'm actually starting to kind of grasp some concepts. So if I say there's some weird things that I've noticed about Japanese, if I say Nihongo totemo muzukashi desu, Japanese is very hard. Or if I said Nihongo muzukashi desu, desu ka, Japanese difficult. If you put a K at a K-A sound at the end of a sentence, it denotes a question. You know, I've also noticed that desu or suru is a very important verb that goes on the end of a lot of sentences, and I also have to learn how to conjugate that just a little bit better. So if I say I need something for an A and B sentence, watashi wa shuhai ga hitsuyo desu. All right, if I want some of that, and I don't know, there's always this like voice in my head, and he sounds like some guy in a 1950s Akira Kurosawa movie. You know, movies all like "Watashi wa chuhai ga hitsuyo desu," or I could just say "Chuhai ippon kudasai." Chuhai is some kind of alcohol that I've recently become interested in. You know, so it's all on how it's implied. You know, so, you know, if you want to get out there and you want to talk to the lady folk, I guess you go up to them and you be like, "Kirei da ne, sono kamigata ii ne." And then I'll be calling up a friend and I'll be like, "Watashi wa tai o soratta." I've been arrested, just so you know. Oh, desu at the end of the sentence. So it's coming along. It's a slow crawl. I'm actually getting to the point where I can put together a formidable flashcard deck. So far, I've been lacking in that category. I have 3.5 of them done. Well, that's enough about that, you know. Enough there. It's fun to learn a different language. It's better than Mexican, you know. You just sort of go up to the chicas, you know, you're like, "Hola, hola chica, ¿te gusta blancos hombres?" You hiss at them. They love that. They love that. "Soy muy macho. ¿Te gusta me?" You know, they like it. I don't know. So right now on my projects, I have gotten my orcs down to a Spartan 19 models, and that's where it's going to stay, plus some repaints. So I have like 14 actual guys I got to paint. I have to repaint a truck, and that's about it for now. I'm going to let that project slide for a little while, and after that, I'm going back. I've already gotten into Macedonians. Let's see here. What do we got? 8 phalangites are done. For the week, for the last week and a half, we've gotten 4 Scottish cavalry done, 3 orcs, some repaints, 5 repaints, not to mention, yes, count them, 8 hypaspis. Now they're not all the way done, but the torsos are done. This is the hard part. I can work out 2 of these in about 2.5 hours if I go all out and everything. So and that's just a final wash. I might have to highlight a little bit. Not sure yet, but I think they look pretty good for what I've done there. I want to finish my 6 Macedonian pike phalanxes, and then I want to do, I don't know why I'm adding another unit. I want to do 2 24-man units of hypaspists. They don't talk about the importance of the Macedonian hypaspis enough at Gaugamela. And one of the other things I noticed for some of the battles and during the Successor Age is that they didn't have enough of these guys. These were probably the most important troops in the Macedonian war machine. Their job was to plug the gaps. So, for example, let's say a bunch of Romans throw a bunch of javelins, kill a bunch of dudes in the pike phalanx, and they go down and there's kind of a break in that line. It would traditionally be the job of the hypaspis to plug that break, to get up there and plug that break before anything happened, before you come through the static wall of pikes. Reach is a huge advantage in warfare. This is why dwarfs would literally lose. If dwarfs were real, they would have literally gone extinct ages ago, because reach is a very, very important thing in warfare, and that's kind of what made it, because now I can fight you in 4 to 5 ranks of guys, and that you're not worried about the guys up front who are pushing against you with their swords once their pikes are taken away. You're really worried about the guys in the 4th and 5th ranks that are taking pock shots at you when you're distracted up front with the guy directly in front of you. And the job of those high pacifists was to plug the holes in the gap and keep the static line. Especially if you do have a breach in the line that all of a sudden collapses, cavalry can come in, all kinds of madness can ensue, and you can lose a lot of people very, very quick because you either have to drop your pike and run, or you get trampled. Very dangerous situation there. And so I'm going to be focusing on them, and then after the pike phalanxes are done, I'm going to probably go back to orcs for a time, because I am going to get the last 3 bases of Scots cavalry done. And then we're going to go to 2 boxes of dragoons for ECW. That is a must. I can't help that. My buddy has all these grandiose plans, and so I'll probably also need 2 more boxes of Storming Party on top of that, just for some of the scenarios, so that we can play out a lot of ECW next year, because his army for the most part is done. I think he's got to add 1 box of dragoons, and that's it. I need to add 2 boxes of dragoons. Now, the good thing about the way I painted my Scots, I can use them to make my Parliament army bigger, or I could just use them as is. And I'm kind of going to make my dragoons a mashup of both, so that they can swing either way, for Parliament or for the Scots. So, and I definitely want to get a unit of Lancers, but that's way later. I also have a guy I know is going to build me a bunch of 28mm Russians for bolt action. And because I'm going to buy the stuff, but he's damn sure going to be here with a sprue clipper helping me build that shit, because I don't have the time with everything that I'm doing to put into it. I can paint things, I just don't have the time to build them. And then I definitely next year want to build another one of these. I want to finish the one that's in that room and build another one. And put together plans for some kind of an event. I don't know if that'll happen next year, but I want to put the plan into motion, because people have expressed interest. And then I want to find a commission painter, because I want to do some epic scale Civil War stuff, and I might send them the masters, and then they'll send the product back to me. But I definitely don't want to take time away from what I'm doing. I might find a commission painter to do some epics. So that would include 1 more box of Confederates, and then a box of Skirmishers, and then 2 boxes of Union and a box of Skirmishers, so that I have enough to play around with. I don't know. I might go as high as 6 2 boxes. That is 6. But I might go as high as 8 boxes. 8 more boxes. I don't know. But that would be commissioned, So that's kind of where I'm at there. As far as projects are concerned, Plus I already have open project on Celts, and I'm very thankful to the Ranger again for the rebase job that he did for these cavalry. They look amazing. He even gave me some flowers on the bases and everything. The man gave me flowers. My buddy gave me flowers on my bases. I am blessed. It's been a good year. And then what I've noticed here is that I've already kind of got the beginnings of a Lowland Scot army. These guys are wearing the Scottish cross colors. And then I'm like, I can give these guys a bunch of pikes and use them as Lowland Scots. And then I can take these guys off of the bases. And it's all about, repurposing. I think I might be able to get these guys off the base and put them on the 20mm squares. And use them as Scots, because Scots did use the longbow. You have open army projects that I would rather get to this year. And that's kind of where I'm at on that, And so it's going to bring us into our next topic. 3 months, no shopping at the FLGS. I can tell you now that it has been a grand total of 3 months, And I have saved $400. So what I've decided to do with the money that I'm saving, not going to the FLGS and spending my money or my time, I've put all 400 of that into the S&P 500. That's where all my hobby money is going to end up. Right into the S&P 500. I'm going to let it ride. And then once I get an adequate amount of money in there, the economy will collapse anyway. So what am I to do? But that's kind of just what I've noticed. You know, the money built up. I'm not making a compulsory purchase of any kind. You know, I'm not seeing that and saying that's cool. I'm not grabbing this off the shelf and making decisions, because every now and then you do, you know, especially for me, if I see something used that's like fantasy related, Warhammer fantasy related, like let's say a guy has a bunch of Savage Orcs that he spray painted black and put sand on the bases, and there's an entire army of them. Yes, I would be buying that. Yes, I would be writing a check for that. I'd be like, yeah, I'll buy it right now. I'll come back with my checkbook. I'll just PayPal you the money right now. How do I get this? I want this, you know. So that Confederate Brigade box that I bought for Epic was a compulsory buy, you know. So, you know, there's none of that. And when I need something, most of the time on glue or paints, I'm getting free shipping, so I don't need to leave the house for it. If I need emergency primer, I can go to a proper model store and get emergency primer, which is pretty much all I need, because I'm not running out of materials over here. If I need wash, I can order it, you know, and I just haven't set foot into a proper game store in 3 months, and I think it's good, and I'm going to say good riddance to bad rubbish for 3 reasons. Number 1, no slack-jawed faggots. No soy boys. I'm not running into these guys, these mouth breathers, these humanoids that are just inhabiting the place, you know, hanging out all day. They're basically like strip mall rats. That's a good way to describe them. No awkward small talk with the store clerk who doesn't give 2 shits about me. Even though, you know, he doesn't give 2 shits about me or the custom that I bring to the store. You know, those types of conversations that drag on for 30 minutes, and you like the guy, but he doesn't really like you no matter how polite you are. He just tolerates you because, you know, he's getting his 45% discount by being an employee at the store for $5 an hour cash under the table. You know, which is like most every store in this valley. Like, I asked one guy who worked at the store that's always in shambles, what do you do for a living? Oh, I do this. And I'm just sitting there and like, really, this is what you do for a living? You work at the bleeping mall? You know, you work at the bleeping mall? You know, my new pickup line for chicks is, who are at the gym, who are like this girl who was working at the gym. Maybe she has a boyfriend, maybe she doesn't. Most girls lie about having a boyfriend, let's face it. You know, and then I see their picture on Seeking Arrangements. Oh yeah, you'll sleep with me, I just gotta pay, right? So the new pickup line is, hey, when's the last time you've been out on a date with a real man? And not some loser Brandon that wears a little Brandon or Kevin name badge and works at the mall. And that one pretty much goes over pretty well. Well, it's like, I haven't been on a date with somebody who doesn't work at the gym for a very long time. And I'm like, are you serious? Is that where you're getting your men from? Like, oh, your boyfriend's a personal trainer? Which, like, I didn't know if you knew this, but personal trainers don't make a lot of money for the most part. They don't make a lot of money for the most part. Yeah, they're getting like, what, $25 an hour when they're working. Most of the time, when they're working. But the gym isn't paying their wages. They're only getting paid a certain amount of money when they're working. So, like, I know one girl, she might do okay. But, you know, I mean, I don't see a lot of repeat fatties really trying to get back into fighting shape around her, you know. And, you know, finally, you know, just the basement is a hell of a lot better. Soy has ruined the game stores. It has ruined the game stores. I can't stand men living out their extended childhood at the fucking mall, which is basically what a game store is. They're not going to bars, betting on sports or anything. They're basically doing list speculation, sitting there pretending to be intellectual about certain topics around the game. And then when you tell them like what you're running, they're like, "Oh, that's kind of broken. It's got Forge World in it." That's my experience here, you know. And you know, the problem I have is if you're 22 and you do not have a job that gives you your own health insurance, you are a loser of biblical proportions. You need to get a job and sort your fucking life out, mate. Just get a job. Make that your New Year's resolution. Because I didn't know if you knew this. This game isn't for children or poor people. You know, it just isn't. There was a guy I watched who painted some Space Marines with markers. Of course, he spray painted them first. But he was using like Sharpie markers to basically do his Space Marine army. It's like, yeah, this is a good way to get children involved into it. I'm like, what the fuck do you want kids playing 40K for? First, I mean, and then he's like, well, they also have games for, I didn't know if you knew this, they also have games for like every single income bracket. You could play Beastgrave. You just need to buy one $24 box. And then, you know, you buy some hobby tools. That will only cost you $75 in one go. And no matter how hard Games Workshop tries, and this is kind of like where they fail, but they can never fail in a soy boy's eyes. They will never be Magic the Gathering. You don't go and buy 3 booster packs and play in a tournament. You know, I didn't know. I mean, for me, a 40K tournament is very taxing. When I went to LVO, I played 5 games, I think. It might have been 4. I don't remember. No, I think it was 4. It might have been 4 games. No, it was 5. I think it was 5. I don't remember. All I know is that I won 3, lost. It might have been. I might be mixing this up with the Kings of War tournament. Don't quote me on that. So I'm gonna leave that one alone. I can't. It's been a while since I've been to LVO, and I don't remember how many 40K games I played. And then I invited, but I do remember that one time I invited out all those people from Idaho to come down, as many people as I could. They could have gotten in a van, shared rooms, and come down and played, and not one of those bleepers or bleepadars from Oregon or California showed up. It was just basically me and Hayden, and then you wonder why, like, Mantic doesn't go to Las Vegas Open anymore. They'll set up a booth and sell their improving products, but they won't host a tournament there, you know? And it's mostly because gamers don't have any money, they're not working proper jobs, and they're just sitting around getting fat like every other American. And so it's a little bit of a tangent there. He was asking, how do you bring children into well, you hand them a couple markers and they can paint their army with markers and it looks good. And I'm like, really? Is that how we've lowered our standards? Is we're just trying to get anyone and everything? It's like we're just keep moving the bar to the lowest common denominator. I mean, the bar has already gotten so low that you know, I do my searches on eBay, which is a segment I should bring back into it, and the search is just all I'm pulling up is random crap. Unless you're looking to shop for 40K. Unless you're shopping for 40K, it's just everything for like fantasy is crap. I have not seen a decent fantasy army on eBay for at least 5 months now. You know? So enough of that. Enough of the rants on that. You know, just not going back to the game store. And I think my mental health has improved because now the soy boys and the mouth breathers and the rest of the humanoids are out of sight and out of mind. So we're going to kind of go to like the fitness segment here. Life is about other people. Gaming is about other people. Making that good friend is the most important thing in a guy's life. Quite possibly slightly more important or tied with your wife and child, or wife and kids. It's tied with that, you know. And hear me out on this. The most important thing a guy can find is a buddy. Everybody, it's my hope that everybody out there has their battle buddy and their small little clique of gamers that they play with, because men need that in their lives, all right? Don't get me wrong, your wife and kids are a very, 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 very close number one. They're right there at number one, but they are not as important as that one friend. And you can't properly war game with your wife and child, but you will, and you will never have a sense of satisfaction. You will never have a sense of satisfaction from gaming with them. And there's a couple of reasons why. Your wife loves you, but for the most part, you just turn to table their ass off of the table. And you damn sure better beat the crap out of your 10 to 15-year-old son in any game that you play. And then you have to sit there and inevitably wait for that day where he has to open up a beer for you or something. He'll be like, you'll hand him the jar and he'll just twist it open, and they'll come to that point where you'll feel shame, fear, embarrassment, and all of those emotions will just come flooding in. It's gotten to this point. My son's stronger than me. Which every guy should, I'm sure that's a proud moment. It wasn't a proud moment for my father when he found out I was way stronger than him. But number 3, a lot of people's kids and their wives, they kind of lack the disciplinary rigor to master the rule set and form game-winning strategies. This is where your buddy comes in. He has that ability, and it's his job to slick your battle thirst, okay? A good example of a wife quite not measuring up but being a good sport is bunker wargaming. This guy's a British guy that sounds a little bit like this, and welcome back to the channel. I'll be playing my wife today. She's taking command of her orcs and goblins, and oh look, I steamrolled her off of the table. And so the channel's not as good as that, as it could be, because he's always just the guy steamrolling his wife off of the table. And, she has won games, but I don't usually ever see her. When I make a comment about what she should have done, they delete the comment like a bunch of dickheads. All right? I never see this guy's wife in-game formulate a strategy with 2 fighting units, a daring strategy to have a payoff in the next CQC phase. Most of the game is won in CQC. I've never seen anybody win the game predominantly in the magic phase unless they got extraordinarily lucky, or the shooting phase. It's usually won in the movement and CQC phases. That's where the real math takes out. I've got all these guys that hit on 3s. They're going to crash into these guys that they hit on 3s, and they're wounding on 3s, and the math is just with me, and I'm rolling like 80 dice, Men seek companionship with one another because only among men can you demonstrate mastery and proficiency, which is very important to a man. It's important to your mental health that you can demonstrate to other men your mastery and proficiency. All right? In much the same way you can't properly box your wife and child. You can't put them in a boxing ring with you and say, okay, we're going to spar now. Bang your gloves together and start walking towards them. It doesn't work that way. So, if I look at my 40K group right now, I'm just a scrub going about my scrubby scrub day because I'm coming close to beating my friend, but I'm not beating my friend. And then his brother has beaten me a couple times, and that bastard Felix has somehow managed to eke out 2 victories against me, but I'm not the lowest scrub. We got a friend in that group who hasn't won a single game during the entire course of this crusade. I've leveled up all my shit as much as I can, and I'm hopeful that in the next game I can make it rain on somebody's ass, namely his. And so we established a hierarchy, and I'd be like, oh, what do you want to play me for, buddy? I'm just a scrub. Are you sure? And then you got my buddy the Ranger. He's beaten me begrudgingly in our last game of Warhammer. It's the last battle report we did live. He beat me, and he complained the entire way, and that's funny. But if there were more people in the group, there would have been a hierarchy established. And that would have made it even funnier. And that's kind of why I'm playing in this 40K crusade right now, is because we've established a hierarchy. And my friend's winning streak has finally been broken by his brother, who beat him by 5 little points on objectives. And I would be ecstatic if I did that. But by no means was it an ass whooping, And so, playing within a hierarchy or adding people to the group, I think that's very important. And this is why men used to have male-only clubs. Like, they were always going to, on the Flintstones, Fred and Barney, they were always going to their water buffalo meetings to get away from their wives. And these were male-only clubs, like the Elks clubs. They used to be male-only clubs, And then you had big, fat, 3-tiered shit dyke saying there's no such thing as a male space because everything is a male space. Misogynies, please help. And so men don't have that same kind of camaraderie that they used to have, especially like in sports groups or boxing groups, So I think that if you're looking to lose a little weight this year as your New Year's resolution, I think you should seek out and join a boxing club. And I think I'm going to do that. Or pick up big game hunting and do some stoic masculine activities like boxing, kickboxing, big game hunting, which will have that payoff in the end. You ever read a lot of Xenophon? The Greeks, as men, would always swear oaths to one another. Okay, I promise to do this. I have made the sacrifice. I dipped my sword into the blood. The Persians have dipped their sword into the blood, and we swore an oath for a truce that they're going to establish a market for us, and they're going to give us safe passage through their country as long as we do not burn the houses. Because during the March of the 10,000, an army shows up at your doorstep, and you're like, shit, we don't have time to raise the defenses. So you send out a delegation. Okay, we promise to open up a market for you as long as you do not burn the houses. And that was like, I want to say about 20% of the book. Fighting skirmishes and then finding markets for provisions, going the longest route they could to get out of Persian territory, and they would always swear these oaths to one another. And I think that's a very masculine endeavor. As a matter of fact, I recommend that for everyone's next year reading, Xenophon, The March of the 10,000. And you should really be studious on that one. That's there's a whole, like the third chapter in that book is just Xenophon describing the kind of man that Cyrus was. And this is very stoic. This was the kind of man that Cyrus was. When Cyrus had some good wine, he would take a portion for himself and send the rest to a friend saying, Cyrus enjoys this wine and he wishes you to taste it. When Cyrus had provisions of hay for his horses, he would take what he needed and sent the rest out to friends saying, keep your horses fed with this, and courtesy of Cyrus. When Cyrus had some food that he liked, he would send a portion of it to his friends, and Cyrus wishes you to taste this food and nourish your body off of this. And so it would have been a real different world if Cyrus had lived, and he died in close combat trying to kill his brother, the king, Artaxerxes. And and the other part of this, when the commanders were killed, Xenophon was just kind of lying there, thinking he was up because he was awakened by a dream that a bolt of thunder had hit him or something like that. And he took it for an omen. And he's just like, why is everyone just lying here? The enemy can come upon us at any moment, and we just lie here. So he gets up, he gathers the rest of the commanders, and then they have a council, and then from that, by about the time the morning rolls around, they had gotten their shit together, elected new commanders, and then went over to send a delegation out to the Persians who were demanding war. They got a market established, got themselves some breakfast, and then during the next night, they marched away. And they were successful at putting several days between them and the enemy. And then they had this guy, Pharnabazus. He came in, swore oaths to take the Greek side and give them a detachment of much-needed cavalry. And then what happened? Many were killed when he just basically turncoated after swearing an oath of friendship, You know, they would swear the oath of friendship to one another. So I think men need that kind of structured hierarchy in their lives. So other than that, we're going to kind of come to the housekeeping segment. And I'm going to buy a Blue Yeti microphone so that there's less of an echo, because again, the camera that I'm using right now, it's got a great microphone, but you know, you can hear a pin drop with that thing. And then one of the things that I noticed is that it's like sliding the movement trays around, it's like scratching that chalkboard. I'm like, oh God. You know, so I've got to get that fixed. Another thing that I'm going to do is there's going to be a B camera that I'm going to mount. And it's going to be, I can't find it right now. Where is it? That little... It's going to be a mount for that little webcam so that everybody can see. If I'm standing on this side of the table, they can always see what's going on for the positioning for the right flank. And then I have the furniture librarian set up for right over there where the camera is going to be. So there'll be a 2-camera feed with a microphone on stereo, and hopefully that gets rid of all the bugs for some of the live battle reports, because I want to do a lot more live battle reports because people seem to like it. And I just want to have a few shout outs here. I want to give a shout out to let's see, The Right Way to Roleplay with DM James. Thanks for sending some people my way. It's very much appreciated, seeing as how it has taken me 4 months to gain 10 subs in the later part of this year. 4 months to gain 10 subs. I've been at 2,730, and I'm not really happy about that because YouTube was bleeping with me, and then they've gotten rid of the likes and dislikes. They've gotten rid of the dislike button, so I don't know how that's going to change traffic for this show or shows to come in the future. And I don't know if that's changing the aspect ratio at all. So if you want to send me any traffic is appreciated that results in a sub, because I don't see myself really getting to 3,000 subs anytime soon from where I'm at, especially when it's taken me 4 months just to keep 10 to get up to 740. So it's been kind of an uphill slog there. So I just wanted to shout him out, and I've watched his channel. And if you're into Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that, and different kinds of role-playing systems, that's the channel for you. He's really good to turn on to paint. Good stuff there. Tarius Wargaming, tons of awesome ancient showcases. Just very jealous of his Celt army right now. And if you make the better showcase videos, drop me a line, however you can, in the comments section. You make those better videos, I'll make sure there's a link to him in the next Holy Diver show, because he does a lot of good work. A lot of good work. And so, let's just finish the shout-outs here before I lose my train of thought. We got Grana Perigro, treasure trove of Napoleonics and everything. I've watched a couple of his videos. Sorry I didn't comment, but I did leave a like, and God, this guy goes to town on that stuff every single day. He's got awesome collections, and it's also, looking at some of that, it makes me want to do a little bit of Napoleonic, but I can't afford to time-wise right now, so it's probably never going to happen. Don't ask. And then JVC Paints has been putting out a lot of good showcase videos for his Carthaginians and his Celts, so look for some good ancient stuff there. And this is who's ever putting out the ancient stuff. And then Patriot Wargaming Solutions, a lot of good last 2 videos really good. And so with that, I just want to kind of take a moment to reflect on the year and think about everything that I've done. I've painted up more miniatures than I care to count this year. I got to the end, almost, of 3 to-do lists this summer. Working my butt off, sometimes 50, 60 hours a week, going to the gym, just being very stoic a stoic should always be working, in the way that I set my projects up and just knock them down. Today I'm going to paint these guys. Today I'm going to paint these guys. I'm going to do a full repaint of my orcs. Why not? It's time. And this will be a good thing for the next couple of decades, because by then I don't even plan on playing 40K. unless those bastards somehow wrote me into it and everything, you know. And so I just want to give special shout outs to my patrons. This is Jimmy, Drake, James C., Macy J., Soul Blighter, James B., King of Salt, and Tipsy Thomas. Thank you for the Blue Yeti money. As for the patrons, I am going to, the ones that have been with me, the ones that I just named, I am going to get out some kind of t-shirt, and I am going to, and when it comes out, I am going to get your information and I will send you that t-shirt. And then future patrons, like when this t-shirt props out and everything, patrons will be the only ones able to buy it at first, because I don't know how much stock I can get in, what the supply shortages are, and I only have a vague idea of what they're going to cost me. And so there'll be a markup, but there'll be a discount if you want to become a patron. And so yeah, I just want to thank them really quick for the Blue Yeti money, because I transferred the money to PayPal and I'm like, oh look, I can get some microphones and I can get a wall mount for my webcam and some extension cords so I can wire this place up. And so I'm just taking the time to thank you there. And other than that, there's really not much else I can think of. I've had a good year. I've gotten a better job. I wake up and I tell myself I'm a lucky man. I'm a lucky man, you know. And last little shout out to JVC Paints. Nihongo wakarimasen. Tasukete kudasai. They're fighting for you, Marine. They're dying for you. So what do I got starting with the tank? It's
a veteran Sherman with the 2 machine guns, 1 hull, 1 turret, and the 75mm gun. It has the gyro stabilizer roll, so let's not mess that up.
All right.
And then you got your light howitzer.
Is he the observer for that?
Yep, with spotter.
With spotter, and then I got the 3 squads of regulars with 3 BARs.
A submachine gun.
And a submachine gun non-com, a machine gun team, a veteran commander or lieutenant with 2 shotguns, the mortar team, bazooka team, flamethrower team, sniper team, and then a squad of elite badasses.
Yeah, so you got I think it's 11.
These guys got the sonic electronic ball breakers. They're the ultimate fucking state.
You got 11 veterans, but no BARs, just 3 submachine guns and 2 shotguns.
All right. We'll pass it off to you.
All right, and for the Ranger today, we have a much smaller but elite force. We got the Puma veteran, the light howitzer, which is regular, and then we got a veteran medium machine gun team. We got a veteran lieutenant with 2 dudes, Panzer Shrek team veteran, 3 10-man squads that are veteran, each with 2 MG42s, 2 Panzerfaust, and 2 assault rifles, and a squad leader submachine gunner. And then up front, we have a inexperienced squad with 1 Panzerfaust and 1 submachine gun. So that's the force. Much smaller, but more elite than the obese Americans.
The obese Americans. These were the Marines, dude.
The obese
pound
Americans.
Pound for pound, the absolute best soldier put out during the war.
With they've been eating their McDonald's and they're all going to die
We've
of
all been
cardiac
on
arrest.
lockdown eating McDonald's, but. So preparatory bombardment for this scenario that we're doing is, what is it called?
Preparatory, attacker defender.
Attacker defender. We actually killed a guy out of the squad. Rolled a 6. Everybody else seemed to pick up a pin marker. That guy's part of the cannon squad, so I can't do him. But over there, they picked up 2 and 1 on the Panzerfaust team. My tank would be there. That's fine, I guess. Hopefully, he doesn't hit me with the Panzerfaust too hard. And then I've already gone, so it's going to go into your turn 1, correct? If all of my dice are gone. Yeah.
So it's going to be my turn 1. Your turn 1's over.
And as you can see, I've deployed like this. I'm going to put a lot of stuff up into that building. So turn 1 looks like this. He actually made a snake eyes with those inexperienced dudes, and they ran up behind the hill, which is pretty good. I'm out of range for the Panzerfaust, which is really surprisingly good to know. So maybe I don't want to go too headlong. And then... now
this guy has... The Panzer Shrek has a 24-inch range.
Oh, the Shrek. But they did a run order.
Yeah, they did a run. so they couldn't shoot.
So they couldn't shoot. That's good to know. Maybe I might want to drive up and just. But every squad has a Panzerfaust, so it's like
Every squad has 2 Panzerfaust.
And you can only use them once per game, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is like a bazooka. You can use it as many times.
Yeah, and then so now everything's in the bag. We're going into turn 2. This is how the world looks. And there you go. So a very bloody turn 2. This bastard came over there, shot at my goddamn Howitzer, did nothing luckily. I could advance and pivot, that's all I did, and then I rolled a 1. My tank got destroyed immediately by the Panzer Shrek team, and then those guys, they killed the Shrek team. That's it, that's all I got. And then this house became a death trap. My sniper team member died, my machine gun guys died, and I shot at those guys, did absolutely nothing.
You killed one. You killed one.
No, they killed one.
Yeah.
Yeah, my machine gun team did absolutely nothing. And then it's like, oh, how does a house become a death sentence? When you're sitting here, we've got range and elevation on you, so, how's that historically accurate, Dick Tree? And then I brought on my veterans, I brought on my other squad, my mortar team's on, I got the first dice for 3. And so it's all what I do with it, So, survived the tank on turn 3 here. We whittled this squad down, put 3 markers on them. We only killed like 2 guys this turn. That's the unit that took most of the casualties when these guys advanced and rolled up on them, which was kind of a smart move.
Then I wrecked those.
And he wrecked this squad, but still I'm not happy about like how my tank got off, and these guys keep failing their leadership. But we'll see in turn 4. So to wrap up 3, yes, he killed my anti-tank weapon. These guys came out. Flamethrower did absolutely nothing because I missed with the flamethrower. Do I roll D6 plus 1 shots? Is that it?
Yeah, D6 plus 1, but you rolled a 3, so it didn't matter.
I rolled a 3? Okay. Alright. So, isn't that 3 shots with the flamethrower, though?
No, it's 1 dice plus 1.
Okay. And then those guys removed over there. The lieutenant went there to help them out, so because they've been there for 3 turns now fully. And then over here went down. Oh, they did not go down. They just took another. They just stayed the same. Hold on, let me redo. I swear to God, I measured that at 6. I guess it's not at 6. Maybe it is.
I just measured it. Oh, here. Let's put it on camera.
Put it on camera.
Look. That is not.
From the end of my base, motherfucker.
No.
From the end of my base.
No way.
Not from my head, the end of my base.
That's 6.5 inches.
That's not 6.5 inches.
You've been deemed inadequate.
Okay. They did nothing again. They went into the shell crater. I am going to probably take the objective this game. They went down.
Points? I get points for killing units, and you get points for getting into the end zone.
And then, let's see here. You've killed 3 units, so you're ahead. I don't know what you're crying about, you big baby.
Yeah, you get 2 points for every unit.
Fired. We ranged in on a 4, so both of our mortars should hit something. One mortar should hit something next turn. Yeah. And then, other than that, I
killed your cannon.
You did? Yeah, the cannon's gone, motherfucker. And then, what we're going to have here is turn 4, and that's where we're
turn
going.
5.
No, this will be 4, won't it?
No, this is 5.
5? Okay.
Yep.
So it'll be 5. Get hosed, motherfucker.
Yeah, because you try, but you get the first dice every turn this whole game.
I know, that was funny. Just hand me the dice.
You literally get to go first.
You want to hand
first?
Okay, reach you're the bag master now. Go ahead, reach in there. Pete,
you cry about your tank. There you go.
Okay, I even caught that like a Chad, everybody.
Suck my dick, bitch. Fuck you.
So that was turn 5. I lost my flamethrower guys to the guys in the crater over there. The sniper died after someone screamed bloody gore about how he's not going to kill anything. He rolls 2 6s on his ass and then gets a 4. And then,
yeah, but you obliterated that squad.
I did obliterate that squad in the background there. I did run by and do them for another pin, so they might not get back up this game. But the lieutenant is coming, and you could remove D3 if he can't run and do that, can he?
No, he can't run and do that.
Oh, okay, so he has to advance into a squad to do that. All right. So I ran the bazooka team. Everybody's just going
But
to.
he has a 6-inch range, so he actually probably.
He won't make it on an advance. He'd have to run.
I don't know. I think it's.
He'd only.
No.
The machine gun team's fresh, but those guys in there, they've taken the brunt of the fire. Yeah. So we're going into 6. I'm down 2 dice. So right now the Ranger is technically in the lead because how many points you get for?
I don't know. We gotta look it up in the book.
We'll look it up in the book. All right. So to cap off this turn, these guys moved out. They assaulted this squad, moved a further 6 inches away from the spot that they killed those guys in, and then they got shot by this squad. And I got an exceptional and killed the MG42. Then the squad next here, right here, shot, killed those guys for 1 more. Oh, for 2 more actually. Neutering the squad a little bit further. He failed orders there in the squad. The Marines did take a pin marker and a casualty for their troubles for keeping the rifle pressure up on them. And those are the veterans. Pushed the lieutenant all the way in, and I pushed the bazooka in there. I should be hitting on 2s now because we got to play another turn with the mortar. And I know that the mortar is not long for this world if he decides to go after it with the rifle team. But there's still a little bit of bolt action to be played here. Would you agree?
Yeah. I think so, slightly in your favor.
I got to get 1 more of your dice, and then I might for sure do it.
Yeah. I mean.
So disorganized table. Excuse me. Doing the turn recap, we got 13 total points because I managed to kill 3 of his units. All right. He killed 6 of my units, and it did almost come down to if he got in the mortar, it would have been a flat-out draw.
But it would have been a minor victory in my favor because you had 13 points, I had 12.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been 2.
So that
would have tipped the balance, and he did put a pin marker on that in the end of the game. And so, let me know what you thought about this. This is going to be at the end of some of these hobby rambles in the Holy Diver Show, a lot like Pike and Shot, to get you motherfuckers to watch.
Going on. I friggin' sold out. It's better to burn out than to fade away. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
3, 2, 1, go.
Suck my dick.
Okay, we'll keep that one. Do it again. Do it again.
Go. 1, 2, 3.
Suck my dick, bitch. Fuck you.
Thank you.